If you're not the father, why you ain't just get this done and over with? My mom was a dancer. She used to go to a couple concerts with our friends, and basically they went to an apartment building. They relaxed and chilled, and had.
What if hip-hop's first billionaire has been ducking a single cheek swab that could crack his kingdom wide open? For 30 years, a Philadelphia man named Rymir Satterthwaite has chased one answer. Is Shawn Jay-Z Carter his biological father? The paper trail zigzags through 4 states, 3 dismissals, and allegations of hush money, intimidation, and even a weapon mysteriously stashed in a car.
That's his son.
You think that's his son?
Yeah. First of all, Jay-Z offered him money. At first, he offered him bread, and everything, but his aunt didn't approve of it. She said, no, Jay-Z got a lien on her house, all type of shit that was going on. The lady put up paperwork and everything with his name on it and all that. But Young Boy's so thorough though, he just wanted dad.
Now, in the summer of 2025, a federal judge has finally ordered the rap mogul to hand over DNA, dragging the Carter empire and Beyoncé's pristine brand into the glare of a paternity showdown that refuses to stay buried. Buckle up, because behind the platinum plaques lies a saga of courtroom chess, whispered threats, and a son who says he wants nothing but the truth. Rymir's story begins on the gritty streets of West Philadelphia in the early 1990s. Wanda Satterthwaite was just 16 when, according to family friends, she dated 22-year-old Shawn Carter, then a hungry mixtape hustler commuting between Brooklyn and Philly.
Has Jay-Z or any of his people tried to reach out to you to maybe squash you from doing these?
I wouldn't say they trying to stop it, but they definitely don't want it out there.
Wanda later told her son that the summer romance fizzled fast, but not before she became pregnant. Out of fear and pressure, she listed her high school sweetheart Robert Graves on the birth certificate, hoping stability would shield her newborn from gossip. Decades later, a DNA test proved Graves was not the father, cracking the secret wide open. If Wanda's timeline is accurate, Jay-Z would have been involved with a minor, an allegation his camp has never addressed directly. That single revelation lit the fuse for everything that came next.
Do you believe wholeheartedly that Jay's your father?
I really do. And if it's not, why you can't prove me wrong? It's not as far as a proving me wrong thing. It's go to the courtroom and basically do what everybody else would have to do. You don't have to prove me wrong. I just want the truth.
Rymir grew up noticing his mother's uneasy glances whenever Big Pimpin' blasted on the radio. At 18, he pressed her for answers. At 19, he launched the first of many legal petitions. And from the moment court papers named hip-hop's rising tycoon, the battlefield expanded far beyond a family squabble. But the first courtroom door slammed shut before Rymir even walked in. In 2010, fresh-faced and broke, 20-year-old Rymir filed a paternity suit in Pennsylvania family court. Judges tossed it on a technicality. He was already an adult, and state law required actions be brought before age 18.
He not trying to get no money. He not trying to do none of that. But something happened to him, and I was like, yo, that sounds kind of weird. He said he was coming out from work, going to work, and there was a gun in his car. When he opened the door, he seen the gun. He said he went to go call his man, yo, did you leave a gun in my car? His man's like, no. He said, why you on the phone talking to his man? The cops pull up and block him up.
Undeterred, his godmother guardian, Lily Colley, scraped together bus fare and refiled in neighboring New Jersey, arguing that Carter's businesses funneled millions through the Garden State. Jay-Z's attorneys pounced. They insisted their client had no personal or professional ties to Jersey, pointing to a blank property roster. A judge agreed, dismissing the claim. 2 years later, tax documents surfaced allegedly linking a Shawn Carter to a Cherry Hill address. But by then, the statute of limitations clock had all but run out.
I'm not asking for no money or nothing. I'm not asking for no handouts or nothing like that. I work every day. I take care of my family. Only thing I'm asking for, if it's not the truth and there's nothing wrong with the Supreme Court, just get it over with. Just get it over with.
Yeah, you just want the answer.
Each dismissal cost Rymir thousands in fees and reset the game back to square one. Court watchers started whispering about celebrity leverage, judge shopping, and sealed dockets that never saw daylight. Yet, outside the courthouse, a darker kind of pressure was brewing. Legal red tape wasn't the only obstacle. In 2017, Rymir emerged from his apartment complex, slid into his sedan, and froze. A loaded pistol lay across the passenger seat, magazine inserted. Security footage later showed an unknown driver easing up, popping the door, and sliding the weapon inside. Minutes later, police cruisers boxed him in. Only that video kept him from a felony charge.
Honestly, I can take a no. I can take, if I'm embarrassed at the end of the day, I can take that. I really can. I've been through a lot, I've seen a lot. I could take me being embarrassed. Like, this can't take nobody not saying nothing. Like, you know, it's not fair.
The episode, he says, felt like a message. Stop digging. The harassment claims escalated. Phantom liens slapped onto his aunt's row house, anonymous calls warning him to drop the shet, and 2020 lobbying groups, the NAACP and ACLU, briefly stepping in after what they called irregularities in sealed transcripts. Jay-Z's representatives branded every allegation fiction, but the David versus Goliath optics resonated online. #LetJTest trended, racking up 3 million tweets in 48 hours, after a tabloid splashed the weapon story on its front page.
He said, he told the cops, no, that's not my gun. He's like, so he went in the building he was in and they seen that somebody pulled up and put the guns in his car.
Oh.
And pulled off. I said, bro, I don't know nobody in the hood that got guns to just waste like that to do that. I don't know what. He's like, yeah, you know, so like Jay-Z had a gag order against him, like trying to get a gag order and trying to. And my thing is, if that's not my son.
By early 2025, public sympathy had morphed into outrage, and the judiciary finally blinked. On May 6, 2025, the U.S. District Court in Newark accepted Rymir's newest filing, citing fresh evidence that Carter's Rock Nation tour buses, merch warehouses, and licensing deals did in fact operate within New Jersey. Judge Daria Vega imposed a hard deadline. Jay-Z must submit a buccal swab by August 30th or face contempt. For the first time, the paternity question carried real teeth.
Hold up. At the time of this recording, Rymir made this post 2 days ago. No, he states, remember, he only has to respond to my lawsuit, but with everyone's help, we will take this to the next level.
Daily fines of $5,000 and potential default judgment on emotional distress damages. Reporters packed the hallway. One shouted whether he feared statutory assault accusations if the test proved positive. Carter's lawyer cut him off. Pure speculation. My client broke no laws. The comment only inflamed TikTok sleuths, who stitched side-by-side photos of the rapper and the 32-year-old aspiring R&B artist. Hashtags Hova Air and DNA Deadline exploded. But Jay-Z had one more countermove up his tailored sleeve. 12 days after the court order, Carter's legal team filed a blistering rebuttal, labeling the suit the latest chapter in a decades-long harassment campaign. They alleged improper service, requested a 4-week extension, and accused Lily Coley of hanging up during a good faith call. In a separate statement to Black Enterprise, the rapper called the claims fabricated and insisted prior dismissals proved their lack of merit. Observers noted the language shift, no promise to test, just renewed denial. The filing also hinted at a possible countersuit for defamation and tortious interference with business relationships, signaling that Carter intends to swing back hard if forced into a lab. Meanwhile, Rymir publicly offered to pay for the kid himself, posting, "Let's meet at any clinic, any city. I'll cover the swab. Just show up." The challenge racked up 1.6 million views in 4 hours on Instagram Live. Yet, the louder the courtroom arguments grew, the more strain leaked from inside the Carter compound. Beyoncé has maintained icy silence, but insiders whisper that Matthew Knowles, her father and former manager, is fuming over the renewed scrutiny.
My mom had to sit down with me. I guess she thought I was old enough to know now, and she been saying Shawn Carter, that's what she was calling him at first before she was calling it Jay-Z, and I really didn't know who that was because I was young, and you know, had my little brother, and I really wasn't worrying about it. She was saying it a lot, but I really this was going along with the person I was just seeing, like the person I looked at.
Less than a year after publicly blasting Kanye West for dragging Beyoncé's kids into online beef, Matthew now faces tabloids juxtaposing Blue Ivy's Grammy win with questions about a half-brother twice her age. According to H-Town gossip blogs, he privately warned Jay-Z that unfinished business from the 90s could tank sponsorships if underage allegations stick. Brand safety analysts agree. One PR firm leaked a memo stating that if a DNA match coincides with proof of a minor relationship, several Fortune 500 brands will reassess partnerships within 48 hours. Even without confirmation, Rihanna's Fenty line quietly swapped Carter-facing ads for neutral creatives, signaling jitters in the luxury sector. The rumor mill smelled blood in the water, and the internet did what it does best. By mid-July, YouTube commentary channels flashed thumbnails screaming, "DNA confirmed." One clip claimed an anonymous lab tech had leaked preliminary results, proving a 99.8% match, though no documents were shown. Another alleged Beyoncé flew to Houston with the twins to avoid paparazzi fallout. Jay-Z supporters dismissed the videos as clickbait, but the algorithm rewarded them anyway. The top 5 uploads amassed 10 million views in 3 days. TikTok detectives further stoked frenzy, measuring father and son jawlines with on-screen calipers, while Twitter activists revived older accusations that Carter once bribed judges to bury the case. Claims never proven in court. The noise grew so deafening that the judge issued a gag order on both parties. Yet within hours, pundits were live streaming themselves reading the order aloud. And so, everything now funnels toward one looming date. If Jay-Z complies, analysts predict a highly choreographed rollout, sealed chain of custody, security escorts, and perhaps a second independent sample requested by his team.
I'll just take a test, get over with. Here.
A negative result could bankrupt Rymir through countersuits. A positive result threatens to redraw the Carter family tree, unleash statutory assault investigations, and hand gossip media the scoop of the decade. Failure to appear triggers contempt. Daily fines are petty cash to a billionaire, but public perception isn't. Brand historians recall how Tiger Woods' empire crumbled in weeks once personal scandal breached the fairway. In music, fan loyalty can be bulletproof, yet corporate sponsors rarely gamble on allegations involving underage hookups. Inside legal circles, whispers swirl that prosecutors in Philadelphia could revisit the 1992 timeline if paternity is established, though the statute window is murky. Beyond the courtroom, a son waits. Rymir insists he wants no bread, just a dad. Worthing longing ends in embrace, rejection, or more silence. The countdown has begun. One cotton swab, that's all it will take to settle a 30-year question that has shadowed hip-hop royalty from Brooklyn projects to billion-dollar boardrooms. If science crowns Rymir Satterthwaite, the firstborn Carter, the world will revisit every lyric, every charity gala photo, and every carefully curated family moment through a brand new lens. If not, a man who staked half his life on a belief will be left to pick up the pieces under a spotlight he never wanted. Either way, the truth is barreling toward both men, unstoppable as a bass drop, and when the results land, someone's legacy will never sound the same again.